We are on the 19th shloka today. So let me first start with chanting it, translating it, and then we'll discuss it. Shlok 19, chapter 18. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha prochyate guna sankhyane yathavat shrinutanyapi. Bhagavan says, in the branch of knowledge dealing with the gunas or modes of Prakriti, knowledge and action as well as the doer have been declared to be of three kinds according to the guna which predominates in each. Hear them too duly from me. So we are continuing from last Thursday's Shlok 18, where Bhagavan introduced two triputis or two triads, Gyan Triputi and Karma Triputi. If you remember them, Gyan Triputi has three elements. What are they? Gyanam, knowledge, Geya, object of knowledge, and Gyata, the knower, the one who's knowing the knowledge. And then you had the triputi of karma. That means karta, the doer, karanam, the instruments of action, and then finally karma, or the action itself. So there are 6 elements in play here. This we did last Thursday. You'll remember that clearly. Now, continuing from that, in this next Shlok 19, Bhagwan is taking these 6 elements and making them concise into 3 main elements. And it's very interesting that if you think about it, knowledge, jnanam, and the object of knowledge, geya, can be put together as one element. So jnanam and geyam become one element, jnanam, knowledge. See the shloka? First, she talks about knowledge. Then the doer, the karta, and the karma. Obviously, the karta will become along with the knower of the knowledge and the doer of the knowledge become one and the same. The one who knows only finally will do. So, gyata and karta, they become one together, one element together. And then finally, the action, karma, and the instruments of action get linked up together. So from these 6 elements of the two triputis, we are focusing in this shloka on 3 factors: jnanam, knowledge; karma, action; karta, doer. So what is Bhagavan saying? Bhagavan is saying that in this branch of knowledge, dealing with the gunas, knowledge, jnanam, action, karma, doer, karta, are of 3 kinds each. Okay, so we had 6 elements. They got compressed into 3 elements, and each of these 3 elements can be declared to be of 3 kinds. So there are 3 kinds of knowledge, there will be 3 kinds of action, and there will be 3 kinds of doers. That is what Bhagavan is declaring in this shloka, and let us understand what that means. So let's focus on knowledge, action, and doer now. So knowledge, jnanam. Knowledge is about any object that you are exposed to in the world. Now, there may be any one object. Let's say there is a glass. Now, different people will see this glass. For some people may love it. Some people may not like it at all. And some people may find it, remain indifferent towards it. So why is it that one object has different responses to it? So Bhagavan says that this is because we are looking at an object and referring to our past impressions of that object, which are called sanskars. So all this is happening, the eyes are going out, seeing the object, bringing it back into the mind. The mind now is referring to the past archives in the mind. What was my previous experience with this object? This is called sanskar, or impressions that we carry in our antakaran. And these sanskars will then prompt us to make an opinion about the object. You may have loved it, you may have hated it, or you may have been somewhere between love and hate, or be completely indifferent to it. And all this is based on our past experience with that object. So when we talk about jnanam, we are talking about this jnana, not about the facts about how this glass is made, that it is this metal, this shape, this size, this weight, not this knowledge. We're talking about this knowledge that we are carrying within us, our sanskars from all our previous experiences about this object. And these sanskars or impressions are stored in our subtle mind, sukshma sharir, and every experience is recorded there. We don't forget anything. From lifetimes, we are carrying this information in our antakaran. Now, when a stimulus appears before us, immediately this stored knowledge arises. It arises and it becomes a thought, vritti, or it may become a desire, or it may become a repulsion. And by processing this knowledge, the knower, the jnata, will take some action. Got it? So there's a stimulus, the stimulus presents itself, the mind takes that stimulus inside, the archives come forward and say, oh, your previous experience with this was X, Y, and Z. Based on that, one thought will arise, one desire will arise, some response will arise. And the knower will then do some action. And so the knower, jnata, itself becomes the karta or the doer of the karma or action with the instruments of action, karanam. So you see, all six have come together in one phrase, you can say. Jnata becomes karta, and the karma is done along with the karanam based on the jnanam of the jnaya. So whenever we respond to any stimulus, whenever we act, whenever we do any action, actually what is happening is that we are displaying our sanskars. We are displaying our preferences. We are displaying our emotions. We are displaying our previous experiences with that object. And these responses can be of three kinds, as I said. It could be attraction or rag. It could be repulsion or aversion or dvesh. Or it could be simply indifference or asakti. So now, the important part is, who is responding? The jnata, the karta, what exactly is responding to this knowledge? So it's interesting to see that because of our innate ignorance of our true nature, of who we truly are, we have forgotten that we are actually Atma, and we are starting to think of I, which is Atma actually. We are starting to think of I as the body, mind, and intellect. And so the body, mind, and intellect takes on the dharma of the body, mind, and intellect is taken on by I. So when we know something, we say, I know, Janami, I know. Now, I is actually Atma. And knowing is happening by the BMI. Then we say, I do, I did this, I did that. I is Atma. Atma is not doing anything. Body is doing something, mind is doing something, intellect is doing something. So there's some kind of a gadbad, some sort of mixture, pollution happening inside because of ignorance of our true self. So because of ignorance, one concept comes in our mind, I know. Concept comes in our mind, I am doing. And if I'm knowing and I'm doing, then I'm also enjoying the fruit of my action, isn't it? So the knower, the doer, and the enjoyer are all happening together, and they are all one and the same entity. The Gyata or the knower, the Karta or the doer, the Bhokta or the enjoyer, they are all one and the same. And you know what they are? They are all your ahankar, your ego, your limited sense of self, your BMI. Because we have forgotten who is I. I is Atma. So what is Atma doing? Atma is doing nothing. Atma is simply witnessing the limited self, who is the Gyata, the Karta, and the Bhokta, enjoying whatever they are doing. And the Atma is simply witnessing this entire drama that is happening. Now, the thing is, if I am identifying with this limited self, who is the knower, the doer, and the bhokta, I will be bound by karma and keep repeatedly coming into sansar with repeated cycles of life and death. But if I identify with the true I, the Atma, then I do not get bound by the karma, and therefore I get liberated from sansar. How simple is that? But the trouble is that how to then not identify with the BMI? Because the minute I see something, I see a pen, let's say, immediately I will think, what is this pen? What is this make? Oh, I don't like this make. Oh, this make is very good. Oh, I don't like this color. Immediately, we are identifying with the object from our previous experiences. So, and these previous experiences are what we call our sanskars. So are we doomed? Are we doomed to react to every object or to every stimuli based on the sanskars of our past lives? If that is so, then we will always be bound in sansar because we will always have a reaction. We will not be witnessing, we will be reacting to things. So are we bound to this? I mean, is there a way out? Bhagwan says, surely there is a way out, but for that we are not doomed to anything. You know, in Sanatan Dharma, we are never doomed. We have all the power in our own hands. Only thing is, we need to exercise that power. So what Bhagwan says, we all have sanskars. Maybe from, I mean, millenniums of years, we are carrying these sanskars. But we can do purusharth and change our sanskars. Of course, it takes an effort. Of course, it will take time. But so what? We can still do it. It all depends on whether we want to do it and whether we have the time and the inclination and the energy to do it. So what is this process of change? This process of change is what Bhagwan refers to as in the branch of knowledge dealing with the gunas or modes of prakriti. So for that, we have to understand what are these modes of Prakriti and what are these gunas. You know, gunas, we have already talked about them many times. There are three gunas: sattva, rajas, tamas. And Bhagwan says that knowledge, action, and doer, all these are of three kinds. So all these are either sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. So let us understand these gunas little bit, a little recap, because we have already studied it before. So guna sankhyane, in the Sankhya darshan of Sanatan Dharma, we are told that all matter, everything, whatever you can see in the universe is made up of these three gunas: sattva, rajas, tamas. BMI, our body is also made of three gunas. Our mind is also of three gunas. And our intellect is also of three gunas. Okay, this is also matter. And a combination of these, always going to be three gunas in everything. There will never be anything where one guna is completely absent. So there will always be a combination of the three gunas. And this combination, which is unique in each person, makes up our character, makes up our thoughts, our beliefs. These three elements of sattva, rajas, and tamas influence the words we speak. They influence our actions. So knowledge, action, and doer are influenced by these three gunas. Now, let us go a little bit, revise the gunas. You know that sattva stands for purity, stands for knowledge, stands for light, stands for goodness. Rajas is a guna which is about activity, movement, passion, and excess of anything. Tamas is darkness. Tamas is inertia. Tamas is ignorance. So you have these three different kinds of factors which influence each and everything in the universe. If sattva increases, and these three gunas are always fluctuating, by the way, they're always fluctuating. Total will remain the same. If one becomes more, the other will have to become a little less. If this becomes more, these two become less. So if sattva increases, then what happens? Rajas and tamas decrease. And if sattva increases, the mind becomes still. The mind becomes steady. The mind goes into a meditative state. The mind becomes silent. The mind becomes sthir. Okay, this is a peace of mind. When you feel a peace of mind, then you can know that this is a sattvic vritti arising in your mind. Okay. If rajas increases, then you will feel the need to have movement. You will feel desires arising within you. You will feel like show of power. Lust is a rajasic vritti. So all these desires, activity, movement, you know that your rajas has increased. And tamas, when it increases, you will feel lazy. You will feel like inertia. You will feel even maybe you will be prompted to do adharmic actions. Adharmic meaning not prescribed by the Vedas. All right. So if you want, obviously we all want sattva to dominate. So if you want sattva to dominate, you have to control rajas and tamas. If rajas is predominating, that means your sattva has gone down and your tamas has gone down. And same thing for tamas is gone up, then these two have gone down. Our purusharth is to increase sattva. Our purusharth is to decrease rajas and tamas. So earlier also we have been referring to gunas in shlok in chapter 17 also, as well as in chapter 14. Bhagwan has referred to the gunas earlier also, and we have already seen all those references to gunas. Now, what we have to do is we have to apply this knowledge of the gunas to the triputi of jnanam, knowledge, karta, doer, and karma, action. So, how to increase this sattva is predominantly what the sadhana or the spiritual journey is all about. How to increase sattva and reduce rajas and tamas. See, we talk about purification, chitta shuddhi. What is this chitta shuddhi? What is this purification? It is simply increasing sattva in all areas of your life. Now, what we try to do is we try to change the action. But before changing the action, there is a thought that has to change. And this thought is also coming after the sanskars. Now, we have no control over sanskars, right? It's there in our subconscious mind. But we can definitely work on the in between the sanskars and the action, there is thought. So we can work on the thought. Working on action, like making an action sattvic instead of rajasic or tamasic, is of no use until and unless we have worked at the level of thought. So what should we do? There's a very nice way of putting it. I read somewhere that when you have a toothpaste tube and the last bit of the toothpaste is left inside, you squeeze it till the last bit of the toothpaste comes out, right? So like that, you have to squeeze till all your rajasic and tamasic mental vrittis are removed. What are these rajasic and tamasic vrittis which we want to squeeze out of our antakaran? Negativity, hatred, what else you can say? Doubt, selfishness, hypocrisy, lust, anger, greed. In fact, all our 6 enemies, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, and all the other avguns which go along with them. One by one, we have to remove these 6 enemies and all the other avguns which are their companions, you can say. So first is remove these through conscious effort, through awareness, through introspection, through honest evaluation of our self, of our actions. See, the action is more visible. So when you do an action, pause and say, was this action sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic? You shouted at someone, you banged something, you were lazy, you procrastinated. So stop and ask, what was this? It was not a sattvic action. Okay, what was the vritti in my mind which made me do this? And through this kind of introspection, you slowly, consciously remove those vrittis from your mind. But that's not enough. You have to now replace them with pratipaksh bhav, replace them with sattvic vrittis. Sattvic vrittis is positivity. So if there's negativity, replace it, squeeze the negativity out like a toothpaste tube, and then replace it with positivity. If there's hatred, if you have displayed hatred, then with pratipaksh bhav, bring love over there. At the beginning, it will feel ridiculous. I'm feeling hatred and I'm trying to put love over there. It's okay. Mechanically do it. If you have doubt, if you have suspicion, replace it with faith and trust. Like this, replace the negative with the positive. Bhagwan is going to go more into detail with all this. But before he does that, he gives one caution. He says, Yatha vachrinu tanyapi. He says, listen to all this duly from me. We are listening to everything, right? Then why did Bhagwan have to add this little reminder that we have to listen to this, whatever he's going to tell us in the next shloka? He's giving importance to this particular thing because everything in our entire life is something we are doing. And by every moment, we are becoming liable to incur karma. So he's saying, listen to me carefully what I'm going to say. He says, whatever I'm going to say in the next 9 shlokas, Bhagwan is going to give us a specific way of recognizing whether our knowledge is sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Whether our actions are sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Whether as a doer, I am a sattvic doer, a rajasic doer, or a tamasic doer. And this is so important. So Bhagwan is telling us, Yatha vachrino tanyapi. Hear this duly from me. So next time we will take these specific categories of knowledge, tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. And I'm also telling you, hear this duly from Bhagwan, because it is your entire liberation or bondage will depend on how you are doing action, and action is compulsory in life, and that is going to either bind you or either it's going to allow you to be liberated. Okay, next Thursday we will start this very important 9 shlokas. Okay, till then do this toothpaste thing. Okay, squeeze out the negative and put in the positive. Oh. 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 Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Shidarpanam. Jai Gurudev.